following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
By tomorrow, I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention when you were just
All right, I've got nothing. Let's just go home. I'm done.
No. I love when we come here.
You do?
Yeah, this is like social life for me.
Really?
I have none.
Although I'm a little jealous.
Why?
I'm a little jealous. I'm a little hurt and I'm a little jealous.
Why? Tell me.
I don't know. I'm working on, when we first started here, I was working on trying to find a way to get you to be my co-host.
Oh.
And now all of a sudden you're like the guest on everybody else's podcast but mine.
No.
Everywhere I look, oh, here's another podcast.
It's in Spanish, though. It's not your competition. So.
Listen, that's okay, but it's like Jane is Annie, right?
Yeah.
Why would anybody tune in to see her on my show once or twice a year, which is a treat, when now she has her own show once a week? Like
exactly.
now there's no need to come here, right?
How is that going for her?
Plus, the only reason why you go on those other shows is because Brian DePina pays you.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was not expecting that, Tom.
I hear things. Well, see, I get it too, right? I get it. Can you pull me up just a little bit?
Yeah.
I get it too. I get, you have like, remember when, a little too loud now, when you had convicted felon Debo Brown out there and Julissa Nunez, the cartel spokesman, he only says positive things about Brian because Brian buys ads. And then they do a public records request for all my invoices. Well, you turn it so low, I couldn't hear it.
Oh, so I can,
And then they do a public records request for my invoices, and they find out, oh, yeah, Tom's not making any money on those ads. But they don't declare that on Facebook. They just continue to say Tom gets paid.
People never go back on what they say when they're wrong. They never do.
And I always will do that because that's what distinguishes me from the hoodlum. That's what distinguishes me from the propagandists that claim to be media and the unemployed welfare recipients who sit on their couch eating bonbons like Julissa, pretending that she's pretending that she's a journalist. And just so that people know, I know we've talked about this before, like, I guess she went on a podcast last week, La Banica, is that how you say it?
La Bacanita.
I love her, by the way.
Me too,
I love her.
She used to work with my brother, too, years ago.
And I love her show, by the way. I do watch her show. I use the translation on YouTube to watch the show when it's a topic I'm interested in anyway. But she made a comment that, like, oh, well, Tom gets paid. Look at all the ads in his paper. But she knows that's a lie because when the city of Lawrence buys a full-page ad, I charge them for a half-page ad.
Yeah.
When they buy 2 full-page ads, I charge them for 1-page ad. So we charge them our cost. So we're not making any money. We're just charging them what it costs us to pay the printer to print a page. Like
exactly.
we divide by how much space we have.
People think that you have no expenses. They think like all the ads go directly to you.
Oh yeah, and that's crazy.
But you have an office to upkeep.
I make no money.
You have printers. You have runners. You have a bunch of
I have delivery
expenses.
drivers.
The website. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. It really is. People don't have no idea.
Our expenses are somewhere in the neighborhood of $12,000 a month. Those are our expenses about $12,000.
How do you sleep at night?
So you get the rent for the office, the electricity, the heat. You get the phone bills, the cell phone, the car, the lease on the car, the gas for the car, the insurance for the car, and that's just my car. Then I've got 7 drivers, right? And I pay all of them, plus I pay their gas. And then you've got the printing cost, right? So to print up 20,000 papers.
Do you have insurance too, or
we have insurance, right?
Yeah.
So and plus the printer is like one of our biggest expenses. That's like $5,000 a month, right?
Jesus.
So right out of the gate, so people think that like, oh, look at all the money Tom's making. Yeah, Tom's not making it. Tom's eating macaroni and cheese a lot of times. Like, I mean, and I'm not complaining.
And I get mad at you because I'm like, Tom, come on, like you shouldn't.
I give a lot of stuff away for free. By the way, you're right about that. You're right that I give way too much away for free. But it's because we'll get into the show in a second. Sometimes these little banters at the beginning are more fun than any of the stuff.
Well, Dave
anyway.
Consoli loves them, so.
Right? But like, my dad was killed when he was 47, and I watched my father his entire life. He was a police officer who worked 3 jobs. Like, he would do his regular shift, and then he'd do a construction road job. And then he'd go to court, and he'd do his 4 hours in court. And then he'd fill in for somebody that was on vacation, and he'd do their shift. And he missed a lot of birthdays and Christmases and Easters and my Little League games. And I never could understand it. And I used to say to him, but why would you rather work than spend time like with the family? And he said, because I'm working toward our future. That when I get old enough to retire, I want us all to be able to like go to Florida, retire on a beach somewhere, buy a bait and tackle shop somewhere, go fishing in the morning, and just enjoy the rest of my life. Well, he got killed at 47. And when that happened, it had a profound impact on the way I thought about money, because I watched him spend his entire life chasing money so that at the end he would have something that he never got to. And so from that point forward, I stopped worshiping money, and I realized that my father also did what he loved to do, and he loved to do it, which is one of the reasons why he was willing to do it and spend time away from his family. And so I decided to pick a profession that I loved to do. And if it made a lot of money, great. And if it didn't make a lot of money, fine. I'll find a way to make it work. There's been times when I've owned this newspaper that I've had to take a second job. For 3 years, I worked for my buddy Brian Mercier. I
thought you were going to say the Peña.
No, Brian Mercier, driving people to chemo treatments. Picking up cancer patients, driving them to chemo treatments, and picking up someone else. And then by the time I get them to where they're going to pick the first guy up at chemo treatments, or driving him like to Rockland or wherever. And so I've had to take other jobs while running this paper over the last 20 years. Knock on wood, not for the last maybe 5 or 6. That we're doing okay. But this is a hand-to-mouth business. And so people that run around that like, oh, Tom, look at all the money. Tom, look at all these ads for the city. If you see 2 full-page ads and 2 small ads, you know what they paid for? They paid for half a page. That's what they paid for. They paid for our real estate that we pay for. Because when Brian first got elected, he called me and he said, I know that when Dan Rivera started, the city was buying ads from the Valley Patriot. And then you and Dan had a fight, and he stopped advertising because you criticized him over TMF, or him throwing TMF out of the bus station. And Brian said, that's not right. Like, I'm not giving you a contract because you're my friend. I'm giving you a contract because I think you got screwed. And I said, no way, I don't want the money. Because the minute I take that, the minute I run an ad in my paper, you got idiots out there like Julissa Nunez who like to make shit up, and Debo and Kelly and all of those kind of people. And they'll be out there, and no matter what the truth is, the truth will never make it to the people that they're lying to.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what it is. So eventually he begged me, and I said, he actually did beg me. He's like, no, Tom, please let me do this. The Valley Peachy was screwed, and we need to promote the paper. His thinking was he wants to promote in the paper, in my paper, because
you give results.
the people who are paying Lawrence's bills are the people in surrounding communities. They're the state taxpayers in North Andover, Drake, and Methuen. And he wanted the people outside of Lawrence. See, most of the people who read my paper aren't in Lawrence. They're mostly outside of Lawrence. Everyone who reads Rumbo, everybody is from Lawrence.
Yeah.
Everybody who reads, most of the people who read the Eagle Tribune are in Lawrence. And then you have a few people in Salem, New Hampshire, but for the most part, that's it. All the Spanish language media, that's just all Lawrence, right? So the people who read my newspaper are people from the surrounding communities that are paying Lawrence's bills. And Brian's idea at the time was, and I think he still believes this because they're still buying ads, is that he wants to make sure that the people paying Lawrence's bills know where their money's going. And so I finally said, okay, after about a week, I finally said, okay. He called me several times. Octavian called me. Andrea called me. Wilma called me. And finally I said, okay, look, I'll make a deal with you. I'll take the contract. I will let you advertise in the Valley Patriot on two conditions. One, we charge you our costs, so we don't make any money. We don't profit on it. And number 2, there's gonna come a day when I'm gonna criticize your administration because you're gonna do something monumentally stupid because you're human and we all do it.
Yeah.
When that happens, I can't have you holding that over our head and saying I'm going to pull your contract. Because even though we're not making money on it, that ad being in the paper does help the paper, right? If people who are interested in what Lawrence is doing know that those ads are going to be in every month. And some people pick it up to say, hey, I wonder what's going on in Lawrence, right? So I wanted
But it's only bad if it's you. But if it's them,
oh, right, yes, absolutely.
They would justify it and they would say whatever it is.
Make no mistake about it. If Brian called the likes of Julissa Nunez tomorrow and said, I want to spend $15,000 on your web service, whatever you're calling it. It's not news, but whatever you're calling it.
Yeah.
But I want to spend $15,000 advertising with you. You think she'd turn that down? I bet you everything I own and all future earnings, she would not turn that down.
She wouldn't.
There isn't a universe anywhere. There isn't a parallel universe where she turns that down. So I did hear
I'm
her.
tired of you having to explain that, though. Like, let those people be and let them think whatever they
No, but
want. Let them think that I'm getting paid too. Like,
Listen,
You know, it's okay with me.
If they want to say something about me, you'll notice I never dispute that. But when they say something about the paper, I have a fiduciary responsibility to my board members. And so when someone's going to badmouth the paper, look, someone wants to go on Facebook and say Tom Duggan's a racist. We can have fun with that. That's fine. But I'm not obligated to answer that. But if someone goes on and says, as has happened, I think last summer, Kevin Dubey, who writes for us, he's a Republican. He's head of the Republican North End of a committee. Was on the North End of a page.
The one that's married to the redhead, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He was at Judge to Beat's Pig Roast.
We saw him the other day, too, at the post
that's
office.
right. We did, yeah. So he posted something on one of the North Andover pages, and a whole bunch of Democrats were like, you write for that right-wing rag, the Valley Patriot. Well, listen, I'm not going to let that go. Like, you want to attack me, fine, but you want to attack the paper. So I jumped on, and I was like, so how exactly are we a right-wing paper? And they started posting quotes of things that I have said on this show. And I'm like, okay, but that's not the paper. How is it a right-wing paper? And let me give you a preview. Our columnists consist of left-wing Democrat Pavel Payano, Estela Reyes, Francisco Polino, Ryan Hamilton, Diana DiZoglio, the biggest Democrat like in the Merrimack Valley.
Yeah.
And I've got two Republicans, Lenny Mayer and Kevin Dubey.
And the mayor from Methuen, right?
And the mayor of Methuen is also a Democrat, right? Yes. Not to mention like a whole bunch of other people that are also Democrats. So like if they're going to criticize me, usually I let it go. If they're going to criticize the paper, then I have to have something to say because I don't want anybody to have the wrong impression. Listen, if you want to pick up the Valley Patriot and read through it and you hate it, that's fine. I have no problem with that. It's not for everybody. It's got real news in it. It's got real opinions in it. We distinguish between news and opinion, and most people are used to the propaganda. So if you're a left-wing lunatic who thinks Donald Trump's a Nazi, you're going to pick up my paper, and you're going to see 15 Democrats and then the minute you see the Republican, as soon as you hit page 16 and you see Kevin Dubey, it's a right-wing rag.
Yeah, but that's how Democrats think. They think like everything against them is bad.
And I'm okay with that.
Boycott, and you have to let them go. It's like separating, everyone.
And I'm okay with that if you've picked up the paper and you've actually read it. But if you're just going because Tom Duggan's a right-wing guy, therefore his paper, newsflash, pick the paper up and take a look because... Yeah.
So I want to say thank you to everyone who's watching on Facebook. Welcome in. Stephen Gillis, Mildred Chang, Jaina Zani Pesci is watching.
Yay. Sexiest woman alive. That's because I mentioned her.
Paula Hill Barkley, Alice Merlino, and Maria Figueroa.
Oh, we got a few. Oh, Maria, I have to have lunch with her.
Oh, so Stephen Gillis said, poor Ozzy. That was so sad to see and sharing yesterday.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah,
They're not going to let you live that. I'm
no,
sorry.
That's okay. Although it's not a surprise that Steve Gillis is a big Aussie fan. That makes a lot of sense, actually. So,
you want to send an apology now to the Aussie family?
No, I actually don't.
Okay.
I don't. The guy was a Satan worshiper, and whether he found God at the end of his life because he had no choice because he knew he was on his way out, does not negate the fact that he was a Satan worshiper and that he turned a lot of kids into dabbling into Satanism and drugs, by the way. And so those of you. If you want to send the hate mail, it's valleypatriot@aol.com. Yeah. And by the way, the Aussie hate mail is still coming in from
I'm sure. I mean, it's still happening.
From 2 weeks ago, yes, from 2 weeks ago. And then somebody else, some other Satan worshiper died this week. The lead singer from Iron Maiden died. I saw it on Facebook yesterday, so it must be true. I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw it on Facebook. I assume that it's true. And I saw that, and I meant to post another Satan worshiper on his way to hell. And then my computer died. By the time it came back up, I forgot what I was doing until we just had this conversation. So let me thank our sponsors, then we'll actually maybe start the show. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll just sit here and chat all day.
Yeah, we can talk about
Century 21 McLennan Real Estate, the sexiest woman alive, Jaina Zan. Although she's got to stop. She's got to stop losing the weight, though. Listen. I know everyone. Listen, I know every woman is brainwashed into thinking that no matter how thin they are, they've got to get thinner. I get it. No matter how slim you are, you're fat in your own mind. I get it because society has brainwashed you. Tom Duggan is here to tell you look better with the weight. That's all I'm saying. You look better with the weight. That's all I'm going to say. And by the way, I want to thank the sexiest woman alive, Jaina Zani Pesci, for bringing the Valley Patriot with her to Venice. Is she in Venice watching us still, or is she home now?
I'm not sure.
All right, maybe she'll answer us. Okay. Also, Marston and Son Construction. Ronnie Marston is running for re-election to the City Council in Methuen. He is a great guy. I always support Ronnie when he runs. We got to find a way to get him to buy campaign ads while he's also buying ads from Marchand and Son.
Okay.
Because we're already hitting him for the Marchand and Son ads. So I always feel like you always say, you have to charge people for what they give you.
Yeah.
But I always feel bad when we're already into somebody for something, and then I'm going to ask them like, hey, do you want to buy an ad for your campaign?
You can give them a discount.
Even though, you can't give candidates discounts. That's the problem. Because we're a corporation. So.
Got it.
EIS investigation and gun training. I haven't heard from my buddy Joe Solomon lately. I know it's like I get forgotten. I'm like, I'm an afterthought now.
Well, he's busy, investigating the Eagle Tribune people.
Well, that's true. He's got to come up with something soon. I'm getting impatient on that. Tomo and Shaken Seafood. JG's Ice Cream. I got a nice note yesterday from JG's Ice Cream. Appreciate it. Clear Path for Veterans New England. AFC Urgent Care. Zaka missed our flash mob dinner. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Enterprise Bank, which is now technically Rockland Trust. We'll see how that goes. Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office. This might be his last week.
No.
I think so. I had lunch with him yesterday, and I have a way of snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, and I don't know how I do this. But we had lunch, and we had lunch specifically to talk about his ads because his contract ran out in July. And he said, okay, so what's the ask? And I wasn't expecting to have to do an ask. I thought maybe we would just kind of keep doing what we were doing, and then hopefully eventually it would work. And he was like, so what's the ask? And I was like, didn't have an answer, and I felt like an idiot. And he said, well, I'm inclined to say yes, but I need to hear something. And I froze. I didn't have anything. And so I changed the subject, hoping I could come back to it, and then I never did. So I don't know if he's coming back. I hope he comes back. We'd love to have him. I'd love to have him come back on the show. We certainly wanted to be our MC.
Absolutely.
Everybody said that he was a great MC.
He was. He has a nice singing voice. I keep saying that.
I mean, he's no Jana Zani, right? Because people come just to see her. They don't care what she sounds like, right?
They don't even pay attention to what she's saying.
They don't. It was like when we had Puppy Girl. Do you know when we had Puppy Girl was our official MC for the first 10 years? When we had Puppy Girl, every year I would get a phone call from the Methuen Fire Department and the North Andover Fire Department asking me if Puppy Girl was going to be the MC again this year. And when I said yes, they would each reserve 3 tables.
Oh my God.
Right out of the gate, I would start with 6 tables of firefighters because Puppy Girl was going to be the MC. So I always put them up front. Puppy Girl. So she wrote out Puppy. So this beautiful, the short story is this beautiful woman called me one day, and I found her on Facebook, and she called me and thanked me for the Facebook request and said, my father owns this company. He just turned it over to me. I want to see if maybe you'll write a story about it. And she made it like a half-an-hour pitch, and I was completely uninterested. Made no sense to me why I would write anything about this.
Until you saw her.
And no, I saw her on Facebook while we were talking. I was very impressed.
Okay.
She was extremely hot, like a 10. On a scale of 1 to 10. And then as I was getting ready to hang up and I'm trying to get her off the phone, she said, well, can I call you later? I have to go do a dog rescue in North Carolina, but maybe I can call you on the way back and convince you. And I said, listen, what you're asking for is an ad. You want me to write a story about your business. That's an ad. It's a story it's a story disguised as an ad, but it's still an ad. And then as I'm getting ready to hang up, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean rescue dogs, rescue puppies? What are you talking about? And she ran one tail at a time dog rescue in Boxford. And so I hung up the phone and I started thinking about it. And I called her an hour later. She was still in the car driving down to North Carolina. And I said, how would you like to write a puppy column about tips if you have a new puppy, right? If you have a dog, what kind of brands to avoid, what the new laws are, leash laws. You could find something every month.
Oh, that's pretty
cool. Well, let me tell you, we
cool.
put her on the front page her first week. And that was the week that we got the Market Basket contract and the Stop and Shop contract. So we went from printing 9,000 papers a month to printing 24,000 papers a month.
Wow, shout out to Puppy Girl.
Because of Puppy Girl. So anyways, I digress.
I thought you said Poppy.
No, Puppy.
Oh, okay.
Right. Who else do we have? W3ON, web design, quality catering. I talked to Alvin again. We went to see Alvin.
Yes, we did. He gave you some food. Did you eat it?
And Yvette, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. Taramar Mexican Grill. We had our flash mob dinner there Monday night.
How was the guac?
A little disappointed that we had 16 people committed and we had 9 people show up. I'm used to a little bit more than half. Whenever a bunch of people commit to doing something, 4 or 5 are always going to drop out last minute because things happen. But I expected a few more people to show up. So we had, I don't want to mention any names, intern girl. But somebody didn't show up. So the next time Dave Consoli comes in and you complain about him missing the bash.
Now he has something on me.
Now we have something on you.
Shoot.
So we went to Taramar Mexican Grill in South Broadway. There was about 9 of us. It was myself, Lenny Mira, Steve Spalding, who's a great guy to hang out with. I wish we could hang out with him more. John Drew, who's running for city council in Methuen. We got to get him on the show. Who's actually a lot of fun to talk to. He's a pretty smart guy, and I've known him a long time, but we haven't really sat and talked in probably 15 years. So that was kind of fun. We had Natalie, our Whittier Tech Scholarship recipient,
Delano.
showed up, Delano, and her mother, Michelle. Don Pease from Don Sign Tech, who actually helped us get the show here at the NCAM studios.
Nice.
And I don't want to forget anybody. That's the problem when you start going down the list. You forget people.
You forget people.
And I'm trying to remember.
But you have the pictures on Facebook.
I do have the pictures on Facebook if they want to check. So the food was excellent. I was planning on bringing pictures in.
Ryan DeZoglio said, I was not invited.
It was on Facebook for 2 weeks, dude.
Not even. I think like a month.
Yeah, like every day I was posting, like, anybody wants in. Some of these guys like Ryan, if it's not an engraved invitation, there isn't like a plane flyover, if it's not like stamped in gold, notarized, voted on by the UN, Captain Kirk and the United Federation of Planets certifies it, like they don't think they can come. And it's like, I throw it on Facebook. Anybody that wants to come, just come. I'm just breaking your chops there, Ryan. I am supporting Ryan, so I get to break his chops. Who else do we have? All right, we're just gonna finish doing the sponsors, and we're just gonna go home. 4-Star Lighting Stadium Chiropractic. So we are looking for another restaurant to go do for our flash mob dinner/lunch for August. So I'm thinking the second week of August. I really want to do a Monday or a Tuesday night because that's the night that most restaurants don't make money.
Yeah.
So we don't want to go on a night that they're busy and then we're overwhelming them and that's not helping them, right? We want to go on a night when they're usually not making money and help them make a little money. I would estimate that they probably made about $600 on us Monday night because we all ordered food. Like we had appetizers.
Your steak looked really good, by the way.
Let me tell you, if you want a great steak, the Terramar plate, I think it was called the Terramar Mexican plate, the steak and shrimp. It was so good. See, I like fat. I like a lot of fat, and I also like it well done. And they made it perfectly. Most time, I was actually going to do a restaurant show today. Because I love food, as you can tell. Just look at me. Most places you go to, you ask for a well done steak. Those of you who like well done steak know exactly what I'm talking about. You go to a restaurant like the Loft or wherever, and you say, "I want a well done steak," and it comes out it's not well done because the chef. And I've asked multiple places, why when I ask for a well-done steak do I not get what I effing want? Like sometimes I usually get like mad about it. Like I've been here 6 times and all 6 times I asked for it well done and it's still not effing well done. And so finally one of the chefs came out and I can't remember where it was. Actually I do. It was Miller's Tavern. The chef came out and he came over and he said, listen, the waitress came back. She talked to me. I get it. But you have to understand why this is. Not that it's an excuse because I know you want a well-done steak. But as chefs, we don't want waitresses walking through the restaurant with a steak that's charbroiled when 90% of the people don't like it that way. They're going to look at it and go, oh, I don't want that. I said, okay, well, easy to resolve. Cover the fucking plate. Like, just put one of those things on the top. Like
I can't believe that's a thing.
They're no, Did
you get it for free?
I asked for a few other. No, I did not. And I asked a few other places, and I got pretty much the same answer that the chefs don't like to cook it really well done because they don't want other people to see it and not want to order that. And my answer is, it sucks to be them. Like, cover the plate and please just bring it the way that I want. Here's the other thing. I worked at a lot of restaurants when I was in high school. I will never, ever, ever, there is no universe. There is no parallel universe where I send food back. Ever. I don't care. I won't even say where it was. Actually, I will. It was the Copper Door up in Salem, New Hampshire. They brought me somebody else's order. I fucking ate it. They brought me someone else's order. It's not what I ordered, but I ate it because there was no way I was sending the food back and having them bring me something else. I've worked in enough restaurants to know that when food goes back, no matter what the intention was, no matter how nice the customer was, they screw with your food.
Really?
Absolutely, 100%. And I learned this when I was...
Like places that fancy? Yeah?
It doesn't matter. The people in the back are in the back. They know nobody's watching them, and somebody sends food back, and you never know what someone's attitude is that day. I used to work at Jilly's, and Jilly's was the same family that owns Kitty's in North Reading.
Okay.
And it was the beginning of Mass Ave. Right where Lawrence meets, you know where that upside down building is? So that's where it was. And I started working there when I was 14. I worked under the table. Jimmy Carter also worked there with me under the table. We worked with a guy named Bob who ran the kitchen. And one night, one of the waitresses came back and she said, this guy says that his it had to be chicken palm or veal palm, wasn't cooked right. And he went, oh, okay. So he picked up the veal off the plate with his fingers, wiped the underside of the counter, dipped it in sauce again, and put it back on the plate and sent it out. And I was 14 years old. I never forgot that. No matter where I am, if someone comes over and says, how's your food, and I'm not really happy with it, I say, well, it's not really to my liking, but I'm going to eat it. No, we can send it back. No, you won't. No, you will not. You will not send it back.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
now there's stricter laws
but trust
and
me,
there's cameras.
That was not my only experience, trust me when I tell you. So I never send food back. I never send it back. And when we went to Terramar, we didn't have that problem anyway. So they were great. The only thing I was disappointed in was I was hoping that the owner would be there. Because I wanted him to see that we brought a bunch of people, that the Valley Patriot cares, you're a new business. You won the Taste of Lawrence. This is how we thank you. And so hopefully he knows that we were there. I did bring a paper. And I think everybody had fun. I know a lot of people who couldn't make it want to come to the next one. So if you can think of somewhere to go, I do not want to go to a chain. It's got to be a local business, locally owned business, like a mom and pop type shop.
Okay.
We can't do the people who won Taste of Methuen because Taste of Methuen was
a
catering company. And then I forget who number 2 was, but number 3 was George's Bakery, and that's not a restaurant either.
Okay.
That's like you have to order it to bring home to eat. And I can't remember who number 2 was. Isn't that terrible? I can't remember. So, anyways, so that's our sponsor. Do we get all of them? Oh, free shout out to my buddy Paul Lambert, Lambert and Randone Law Office, who actually does do a lot of work, or did do a lot of work with Doug McCary. I hope we're not going to lose Doug. I like Doug.
Me too.
I like having him around too.
John Drew said food was fantastic.
Oh, John Drew's with us. Yeah, so I thought the food was good. I had he had the Santa Fe burrito. And it didn't look like something that I would want to eat until he cut into it. And then I went, oh, you know what? Maybe next time I'm going to have to order that. And I know he liked it. And I think Lenny and Michelle Delano had the fish tacos, which I still do not understand. I don't understand fish tacos. I don't get
really
it.
Good.
I don't get it. Fish and tacos should taco.
How about shrimp tacos? It's like almost the same.
Yeah, shrimp's but shrimp is good though. Like
fish is good too.
Fish in a taco.
It has good flavor. It takes flavor in very good. Fish does. But shout out to Luis Robles, who's watching us, and Ryan DeZoglio. Let me see.
All right, we had a few things we wanted to get to. I was actually toying with canceling today's show.
Really?
Yeah,
because do you want to talk about what happened in New York?
Well, we can talk about what happened in New York. I really
possibly white.
Yeah, right. I was just going to say I'd much rather talk about how the media screwed the story up on purpose.
Yeah.
Few things I want to hit first though. So there's a story in today's Trib, not that I read it, but I saw it online just as we were going on, about they raised in Lawrence. Now, this is not a knock on Lawrence, and it's certainly not a knock on Brian. It's just a knock on the whole movement. They had a flag-raising ceremony for, if you're driving, pull over. A lot of people listen to us on the audio when they're in their car after they download it. They raised a flag yesterday for, get this, Disability Pride Month. Okay, now listen.
Wait. So being in the LGBTQ is a
now there's a
disability?
Now it's LBGTQA+/division sign D.
Huh. What?
Yeah.
So if you're part of that, you have a disability? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, if you have a disability now, you're part of Pride.
I'm so confused.
Yeah, but of course.
Is being in Pride a disability? Is that what they're celebrating?
I'm supposed to say I'm disabled. So I'm supposed to be proud that I can't walk right. I'm supposed to be proud that I can't breathe when the humidity gets above 45%. I'm supposed to be proud of that. I'm supposed to be proud.
Oh, proud of disability, but not proud of the LGBTQ.
No, it's Disability Pride Month.
Oh, I just always think Pride. I think of LGBTQ.
But you know that that's where it's going. Like, that's why I'm bringing it up. You know that's where it's going.
Yeah.
The disability is going to be worked into the LBGTQAI+/division sign. I mean, it's just going to keep going. Why don't they just say not white guys, like not straight white guys? Why don't they just say that? It's actually shorter to say not straight white guys than all of the other made-up shit that's at the end. And what's really sad about all of this is the gay the gay and lesbian community had legitimate beefs about the way they were treated when it came to jobs, when it came to housing, when it came to benefits, when it came to if they were and I knew people who were in relationships when I was in high school, elderly people. We thought that Aunt Sally and Aunt Flo were just friends that lived together, and then one died, and we found out that, oh my God, there was something else going on. And we didn't know back then, but one couldn't visit the other one in the hospital because they weren't related technically, and they didn't have gay marriage back then. So the gay and lesbian community had legitimate beefs with the way they were being treated. I was still against gay marriage, but that's because I'm against all marriage, so it's not because I'm a homophobe. It's because I'm against all marriage. Then it got co-opted by the transgenders. And what's the other one? LBGT and whatever Q is, which is just another made-up thing, right? It's just it's nobody knows what
Queer.
No, that's gay.
Queer.
Queer is gay.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, so Q is supposed to be questioning, but nobody knows that. If I interviewed 100 people on the streets of Boston tomorrow, I guarantee you maybe one might get it, maybe, and they'd be guessing if they got it, right? And then all the other stuff is just made up, and so they've co-opted the gay movement and watered it down, and now you've got a group out there called, and I'm definitely having them on the show for sure by the end of the year, called Gays Against Groomers. So it's a group of gays and lesbians who are against the transgenders who are trying to groom children and doing drag queen story hours in public schools. And they were, under the Biden administration, deplatformed from Twitter and Facebook and a whole bunch of other social media because they were considered a hate group, even though they're gays and lesbians. Now, figure this one out. You have gays and lesbians who are saying these people just aren't part of us.
Because they don't believe in children getting groomed. That's why. That's hate. Shouldn't children get groomed? Isn't that what they're saying?
This is the whole problem with the whole civil rights movement. The civil rights movement, like everything else, started off with a good cause because people had legitimate beefs against the way they were being treated by their government and by society. Black people, Latino people, even Italians, right? Italians were considered the N-word of Europeans. When the Italians came over, you couldn't get a job as an Italian. They didn't even put signs out. They just knew they couldn't get a job. And then when slavery ended and civil rights were pushed through and blacks were allowed to drink at the same water fountain and they were supposed to be treated the same as everyone else, the movement that accomplished that now had no goal. They'd accomplished what their goal was.
They just keep picking on
So
society.
now we got to find something else in order to exist because otherwise we don't exist. The fundraising stops and the activism stops and feeling important on the news stops. So we have to find something else. So then it became something else. And the LBGP, the gays and lesbians, it became bisexuals, right? And then from bisexuals, it becomes transgenders, which doesn't even exist, right? And then it became questioning, and then it became non-binary and flibbity-flu, and now we're just making shit up because they need to justify their existence so they can keep raising money and pretend that they're on the forefront of civil rights battles when they're not. When they're not. They were when it was gays, they were when it was lesbians, and even to a degree bisexuals. But after that, it's just made up stuff where people just want their own category to feel like they're special.
Yeah.
And so I see this Disability Pride Month baloney. And I was asked by Richard Rodriguez, who's a nice guy, so this is nothing against him, but I think he's probably on the Disabilities Commission, and he is disabled. And he asked me if I would share the little flyer for their flag raising. I looked at it and I was like, so now disabled people have our own fucking flag? Like, we have our own flag. Like, a disabled person, we have our own flag? Like, a flag is for a country. A flag shouldn't be for a movement. It shouldn't be like, I don't even think there should be a gay flag. I think the rainbow should go back to meaning, God gave us the rainbow after Noah's flood to mean the peace, right? That's what it's supposed to mean. The rainbow is supposed to be peace. So I don't think it should be a gay flag or a lesbian flag any more than I think there should be a bondage flag or a foot fetish flag or a disability flag. I think there should be one flag, the United States flag. Maybe have a flag for your state, a flag for your city. And that's pretty much it. If you want a flag for like your own little organization or something.
Create an alliance. Create a Facebook group. God damn it.
Right,
Damn.
right.
They're trying to just put this stuff on us like that.
Start a book club.
Damn. Oh, I have David Doyle. He said, try big and beefy. For the next restaurant. And Idai Chavez Veloz, welcome in. She said, shout out to Latina business owners and Carlota for representing Latina Republican voters. Yay. Thank you.
I hated
I get a lot of hate.
I hated every word in that sentence, but because she's your friend, I'm going to let it go.
Be nice. Okay?
Latina businesses.
It's true.
Stop it. Stop it. We should be helping all businesses.
No, you know how much hate we get because being Republican?
That's true. That's true.
But we're not creating a flag for it. All right?
Not yet. Not yet. All right. So there's a couple of other things.
Yeah.
So I haven't followed the entire made-up controversy. I hesitate to say made-up because
it is made up.
I was looking for something more harsh.
If I'm correct, it is made up.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So here's what happens. In every community, since the dawn of man, a mayor or a town manager or a board of selectmen will decide, hey, we want a park over here. Or we've got a park that's dilapidated, we're going to go fix it up. And then they apply for a grant, and then they go over and they fix it up.
Yeah.
And then when it's done, they do a ribbon cutting, and everybody goes home. In Lawrence, that pretty much happens for every single park. Mm-hmm. There's no discussion about, maybe the city council talks for 8 months about it because they have to talk about everything, whether it's their purview or not. But for the most part, the mayor sees a park, DPW Director Jorge Jaime sees a park, it's in disarray, they apply for a grant, they go and they fix it. Then they have like a little ceremony, ribbon cutting, which, by the way, I'm not for that either. I think they should stop with all the ceremonies. 15 ceremonies a day in Lawrence. Like, seriously, that's not even an exaggeration.
But you have to do that in Lawrence,
There's 15 fucking celebrations in Lawrence a day.
But you have to do that in Lawrence because people won't believe it happens. You have to prove that you actually got something done. Unfortunately, that's how it is. People don't understand the process. They don't understand how things work.
So I've never seen in my 58 years on this planet, with only one exception, otherwise I've never seen a mayor go to the voters, go to the neighbors and say, hey, we want to fix your neighborhood park. We'd like your input. I've never seen that, ever. Again, with one exception, but that was like it was a
Don't leaders make decisions for people?
That's why we elect them. All right?
Exactly.
There was a special case of a community near Lawrence that happened. But otherwise, I've never seen that happen. And so the mayor of Lawrence decided, for whatever reason, I told him not to do it, but for whatever reason, the mayor decided he was going to have some kind of like a public outreach thing to ask the neighbors of Costello Park, which, if I'm remembering correctly, is over by Mass Ave. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So I used to play there when I was a kid.
Nice.
It's right along the banks of the Shawshene River. And it's where they think Andy Puglisi is buried, somewhere out there. Oh, wow. So Brian decided, for whatever reason, to not take my advice again, and decided to do some kind of community outreach to ask the community, to ask the neighbors what they want in improvements to the park. Like, do they want a basketball court? Do they want tennis?
They haven't even started construction, by the way.
So the mayor, by the way, and again, I'm going to say this again, the mayor didn't have to do this. He normally doesn't do this. I suspect he did it because you've got the Julises of the world out there, not just her, but people like her, who just harp on every single thing Brian does and tries to make it negative.
Yeah.
So I think he's trying to show people that he's not that. So he does this community outreach thing, which completely has backfired on him, because now you've got people like Jonathan Guzman and Jalissa and certain other people on Spanish language radio who are making a controversy over a mayor fixing a fucking park. Like, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen.
Transparency.
Yeah, these are all the same people that complain that Tom Duggan got documents leaked to him and didn't want transparency because Tom Duggan got the document and wanted an investigation into how Tom Duggan got the documents. These are the same people who now are crying about transparency. This is what I call the Judy Scannell syndrome. The people that talk about transparency 100 times in every sentence are the people who absolutely 100% do not want transparency. No. Under no circumstances do they want transparency. They want to use it as a cudgel against their political enemies, but when it comes to them, there's no transparency. Want another example? I'm still waiting for my fucking documents. My emails from Kelly Frazier from the city council, who are still denying me my documents.
Can you sue the city?
So that's where I'm going next. Yeah. And friends of mine in the council, they can cry about it all they want, and they can pretend that that I'm making more of it than it needs to be.
F them.
Had you given me the documents when I asked for them?
It's public records. F them. Sorry.
Yep. And I got from one, oh, you're threatening to the city. I can't talk to you anymore. Then you know what? Listen, I love you to death. I really think you're a good person. But if that's your thought, if that's more important to you, then fine.
Don't make me say it.
You know what?
Don't make me say it.
Then
I'm
that's
not gonna say
fine.
anything
I
about
know. And I'm trying, by the way, very hard with that person not to say their name publicly.
Yeah, me too.
Because I'm trying not to blow the relationship up. It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah, but back to the park situation.
Well,
okay?
because it's all the same thing. It's about transparency. So, has any mayor ever been that transparent about fixing a park? No, they have not.
Tom, it's something good for the community. It's that development, it's growth.
Right.
It brings good for the community, for our children. That's what we want.
But
Isn't that what people want?
The people involved in the base voter, the people who are involved in the gadflies that I call them, people who are on the outskirts of power. Spanish language radio, not all of them, but some of them, the Julisses, the
ones that charge $300 for interviews, those people.
We'll get to that in a minute. But don't let me forget that.
Okay.
Those people, it's kind of like third grade. They don't like Susie, but you like Susie. They don't want you to like Susie because they don't like Susie. So if Susie does something good tomorrow and you're short $1 on your lunch money and she gives you $1 and says, don't worry about it, it's, oh, she's trying to buy your friendship. She's trying to buy you. There's always this negative, nefarious motive that's attached to you because they don't like you and they don't want anyone else to like you. And I've said this on almost every show, and I'm going to say it again, whether it's to Alta Gracia Maggi, whether it's to Julissa, whether it's to Jonathan Guzman, who's completely fallen into that whole trap, even your friend John Regal, who I'm still supporting, at least as of this moment, if you get up there and you applaud the mayor when he's doing something good, as he's doing with this park, you have a lot more credibility when you attack him over something that he's doing that's not so good. Yeah. And when you take it from someone, listen, I did everything wrong. When I give advice to candidates and elected officials, it's not because I'm pretending to be holier than thou and that I've never made a mistake. It's the exact opposite. When I was an elected official, I literally did everything wrong. I had the whole idea of how this is supposed to work backwards in my head. And Mary Claire Kennedy could do the greatest thing in the world when she was mayor, and I was going to find a way to make it negative. And then when Mary Claire Kennedy actually did something monumentally horrible, no one would listen to me because I was the guy sniping at every single comma that was in the wrong place in every document that she sent out. And after a while, it's like the boy who cried wolf. Unfortunately, there's people 40 and under don't know the story of the boy who cried wolf. Please Google it and look it up.
I know what it is.
I know you do. I know you do. But I get emails from people who are a lot younger who don't get some of my references. They email me sometimes. I mentioned Granny Clampett one day, and I had 5 people ask me what the hell I was talking about. If you have, especially if you're a candidate, but even if you're not, if you have people who listen to your show or follow you on Facebook or you have an audience of some kind, maybe you write a column for a local newspaper, go out of your way. This is the best advice I can give. Even Julissa doesn't even deserve it. I'm going to give it to her anyway. The best advice, go out of your way to say good things about people you don't like, even if what they did was just kind of a little good. Like, make it bigger than what it is. Go out of your way to show the audience, the people who are consuming whatever you're putting out, to show them that you're fair. Because if you show them that you're fair, and then the mayor does something monumentally stupid tomorrow, and you crush him over it, no one's going to say, well, yeah, but she just complains about everything the mayor says. Yeah. And I know because I did that. I was Julissa Nunez in 1996. I was the one that no matter what Mayor Mary Claire Kennedy said and did, she was wrong. Now, in full disclosure, 90% of what she did was wrong.
I mean, in your eyes.
Right. But when we caught her, well, I don't want to say stealing money, right? Because that's technically not true. But she illegally accepted a gift from a vendor from the city whose contract she signed. Okay. It wasn't a big gift, but it was still a gift and it was still illegal. Yeah. It was a big thing.
Well, senators do it.
Well,
House representatives do it.
If they should, and if they get caught, they get in big trouble.
AOC actually got in trouble. Is being investigated right now because she received some gifts and didn't
she should. But this was a small gift. So we had started doing school uniforms for the high school. We had a vendor that was providing uniforms to the kids. For the kids that couldn't afford it, we had a fund from the Lawrence schools that would pay for it. And Mary Claire Kennedy went there the day that they opened to thank them for doing what they were doing, and they gave her a uniform. So that the opening day of school, Governor Weld could come to the South Lawrence East School, and she would be in a uniform like all the kids and kind of make the kids feel like, she's one of them. And I get what she was doing. She was running for re-election. However, he gave her the uniform and didn't charge her. So that's a huge thing. And now it sounds small, but it's a huge thing. But because I had sniped about every little thing that she had done, when I raised it, nobody gave a shit. Yeah. Until finally, the Eagle Tribune said, like 2 weeks later, hey, wait a minute. Maybe Duggan's onto something here. And they called the Ethics Commission and found, oh, no, that's a big no-no. It's not just a little no-no, it's a big no-no. So I'm saying all this because I want people to understand. And this is a good life lesson, not just that has to do with politics. If you have someone at work, if you have somebody that you deal with on a regular basis that you don't like, stop making everything they say and do wrong, right? This is the problem that the Democrats have with Donald Trump. Donald Trump makes his coffee in the morning, and they complain about it for 2 hours.
Oh, he said the children.
He said one day that he puts cream in his coffee. We have video that one day he put milk in his coffee.
Ah.
Well, maybe they were out of cream. No, that's not good enough. It's proof he's a Nazi. Right? So this is the problem, is that when we don't like someone, we become third graders, where everything that they do is wrong. We don't want anyone to see them in a positive light ever, anywhere, no matter what. And so when this Costello Park thing happened, is Brian going to do everything right? Of course he's not. He's frickin' human. No mayor does everything right on any project. But he went the extra mile to put this out to the public. He went the extra mile to get public input. And he knew doing that he was going to have to put up with Jonathan Guzman. He knew doing that he was going to have to put up with Jalissa. He was going to have to put up with Alta Garcia. He was going to have to put up with some of these people who don't like him. Some of whom, by the way, have good reasons not to like him. Like with Margie, I get why she doesn't like Brian, right? I get it. He tried to have her shut down. If someone tried to have me shut down, they'd be my enemy for life too, right? Steve and Kelly tried to bankrupt my newspaper, they will be enemies for life, and I will do everything I possibly can to take them out. Yeah. Not physically,
but she's not right about a lot of things.
Not physically. I want to make
she's
sure
not right about a lot of things anyway.
But that's true. But what I'm saying is I get why she's upset. I get why she doesn't like him. But I still want to give her the advice too that you have more credibility when you criticize what he does wrong. If you're not sniping the little things, like she did a whole thing on Facebook and a show on, and I'm not picking on her because I do love her and I think she's cute too. She was complaining about all the billboards. There's a city council that called me about the billboards too, that the mayor was. It always starts off with the word illegal, but then throughout the conversation, the word illegal always gets dropped.
That's what I mean about her, right? She was pushing that whole agenda of this illegal, and I commented and I said, "You have proof that this is illegal. Do you?"
Is that what you commented on? Because
yes,
I sent her a message this morning. She said, well, that woman who works for you made a nasty comment or something like that, and I didn't know what you had said.
I said, can you give us proof of this? Like, don't just give us partial information. She posted a video, and she said, politics of the billboard. And I said, what is wrong with this? Is there, like, have you done some research? Aren't you a journalist? Aren't you, shouldn't you give us the whole information? Aren't you supposed to be a professional?
Here's the thing.
And then she kept, pushing that agenda. And I said, wow, you really need to put it to rest. If you have no proof, you have no credibility to me.
Well, listen, and here's what gets lost in that whole discussion, right? So I'm going to come down in the middle.
And I didn't say anything nasty, Maggie, okay? I didn't say anything
I don't know if she used the word nasty. I don't know if she used the word nasty.
Well, whatever it is that she said, if she is a communications page, just like Fox or just like you, people comment anything that they don't agree with or they challenge what she's saying, I have every fucking right to say that. And she has to come back at me, not block me or not unfriend me. What kind of credibility is that?
I agree with that. She shouldn't block you. She would listen. A lot of people hate me. Nine times out of 10, I don't block them.
Yeah.
Right. I only block them when they attack other people, like personally, like their wives or something.
Yeah.
But getting back to this, I think she said something to me because she thought I was behind what you said, and I wanted to make it clear to her that what you say is what you say, and what I say is what I say. So she'll probably hear this conversation and think we coordinated, but we didn't. Yeah. I'm going to come down in the middle on the billboards, and I've had a lot of people ask me to discuss the billboards, so let's do that.
Okay.
So the mayor of Lawrence, and I don't know what the exact numbers are, but it doesn't really matter. The numbers really don't matter. The mayor is using city money to buy ads in newspapers, promoting, including mine, promoting what's going on in the city. The city's also promoting, the mayor is also promoting the city on billboards throughout the city of Lawrence, okay, with his picture on it.
Okay.
Now, it is an election year. So it looks political.
But he's been doing that. No.
He had not as much as he is now that it's election year.
Okay.
And where Margie's right is that he's doing it because most people don't know the difference. They see the billboard, they see his picture, it's him, it helps his reelection. It does help his reelection, but it's not a campaign sign. So as long as he is and if you don't like Brian, you should write this down and do your own research because I haven't done it yet, but I'm giving you a blueprint. As long as he's paying the same price as everyone else for the billboards, B, it's on a legal billboard, and C, it doesn't mention his campaign or election day anywhere in what he's promoting. Now, does that make it right? She's right about that. It doesn't make it right. It's really,
but it's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal.
Right. So
people might think some things are wrong or they're right because based on their values or what they think, okay? Because it doesn't apply to the people that they like. But if it was the people that they like, it would be okay.
We got to get a camera on you so people can see how animated you are. How you're doing
Sorry.
this.
It will be okay, right? But it's because it's Brian that makes it not right, Tom. I'm sorry, but she loses all credibility to me. I think she's a fake communicator. She does not have credibility for me. I'm sorry. Too bad.
I love her.
Well,
I do. I love her.
Good for you.
But I think, and again, I'm saying this with love. She's right that it's not right that he's doing it.
How?
It's not. It's morally.
To her.
It's not right. I'm saying it. I'm Brian's friend. I'm saying it's not right that he's doing it. But it's not illegal. And so if you came out and said, listen, the mayor's doing something, it's not illegal, but I have a problem with what he's doing because a lot of people don't know the difference. And he's putting these billboards up, and it's promoting him because his picture's on it. And if he wants to promote the city, do it without his picture. And if she just said that, I would cheer for her. I'd say she's absolutely right. Yeah. Even though Brian's my friend, that's the right way to go. That's the right way to approach it. But when you start with, it's illegal. Well, that's just not true. And so now everything you say after that detracts. And so this goes to what I was trying to say, and maybe in an inartful way, is that you've got to give people their flowers. I go out of my way on the show. There are certain politicians everyone knows I hate. So I go out of my way to say nice things about them as much as I possibly can because I know, because I don't like this person, that the day is coming when they're going to screw up. They're going to screw up monumentally. And no one could say, well, he's only saying that because Duggan doesn't like him. All he does is trash that guy. When Neil Perry and I had our big, huge blowout on the air, on the show, we had a huge blowout on the show, and he walked off, never came back. The next paper, I praised him for two things he did with them at Duggan City Council. And people were calling me going, I thought you hated this guy. I said, well, actually, I kind of do hate the guy. But that doesn't mean everything he says and does is wrong. And I'm going to go out of my way, now that people know that we're mad at each other, I'm going to go out of my way to say nice things about him because that way when he does do something wrong and I criticize him, people know that I'm being fair and it's actually going to mean more. So anyways, I'll probably beat this to death.
Yeah.
I love Jonathan Guzman. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a tremendous human being. I think
right now the focus for him shouldn't be politics. He's over here. He's signed to support Manny Gonzalez, who's running against Brian because he doesn't like Brian, just like everybody else. And he's really just pushing that agenda. Kids are going back to school. What are you doing about that?
Right.
What are your actions? What are your accomplishments? What have you done? You know, like I just feel like he's not moving in the right directions. This whole politics situation, I'm fed up with, Tom. To be honest with you, I'm done.
I know you are.
And I'm not even Brian's friend. Am I Brian's friend?
No.
I'm not even Brian's friend. You know why? You know why I defend him sometimes, and I say when he's wrong.
Because you think he's right. Do you think he's right?
And sometimes I say he's wrong. When Giovanni was here, I said he was wrong. Did you hear me say that? Yes.
I did, yeah.
Because everyone is just ganging up on him because they want something out of it. People just want some kind of benefit.
Well, that's the other thing. When you have a political dynamic like this, we have people piling onto Brian, people who don't like – it's like Joe Rogan, right? It's the same dynamic. Joe Rogan, Obama was his favorite president ever. He was a left-winger. He was for global warming. He was for abortion. He was for all the things that the Democrats wanted. But he saw people lying about Trump so much that it made him go – wait a minute. And then he started actually looking at what Trump was actually saying versus what CNN was saying he was saying. And he went, well, wait a minute. He didn't say fine people on both sides of white supremacy. Wait a minute. He didn't say all Mexicans were. Wait a minute.
That's how I feel.
And now all of us, so you're right. There's a backlash when it comes to this kind of stuff where people don't realize that when you pile on to someone like Brian, who's not the Antichrist you make him out to be, that works short term. But when you start doing it in the January of an election, it wears off by August or September, and now the pendulum's swinging the other way, and you've now given him momentum in the other direction, and you're actually helping him get reelected. And we watch this now. Let me give you another perfect example. George Bush Sr. was at an 87% approval rating the January before he lost the November election to Bill Clinton because of Desert Storm. Because of Desert Storm, he was at an 87, almost 90% approval rating. Never happened for any president going back to like Washington. Never happened. And he still lost re-election. Why? Because the pendulum swung so much in his favor that can only go back the other way. Like that's how the trends in politics always go back and forth. That's why we went from Carter to Reagan and Reagan to Bush, Bush to Clinton. Right?
Yeah.
And
to Bush, to Obama, to Trump, to Biden, to Trump.
Right,
yeah,
right.
It's true. Makes sense.
So it always swings, but there's always a shift. There's always a shift.
I just wish like they would be a little bit fair. You know, yes, he makes mistakes. Yes, he does a lot of things maybe you don't agree with. That's fine. But you're basing your whole campaign on hate and just trying to pick and choose on the little things that make no sense. You are complaining about a park. He actually gave you time to he actually gave the neighbors time to talk about it and to express what they feel and how they think about it and what should be done and what should not be done or anything like that.
And by the way,
how is that? How can you out of that pick something negative?
And by the way, I told him not to do it.
You don't need to do that.
I've never seen a mayor ask anybody about what to do with the park. That's why they elect you. Figure it out, get a grant, go fix the park, and then say, hey, everybody, here's a new park.
Yeah.
Or here's a fixed park, right? I know that Stephanie has been very involved in a couple of parks up in her neighborhood. There's that one off Andover Street. I know that she was very instrumental in getting. I know they had a lot of conversations at council meetings, which I think were just needless. Just do it. But I don't think she had like neighborhood meetings where people looked at schematics.
But it's because it's Stephanie, it's not Brian.
Well, right. And so Willie Lantigua never did it. Dan Rivera never did it.
I'm sorry, but Lawrence looks great.
Mike Sullivan never did it. Marcos Devers never did it when he was mayor.
Take a drive around Lawrence.
So
downtown, see all the improvements, see how clean the city looks.
Listen, I'm gonna say it again. Despite what's going on in the council right now, Lawrence is a far better run community than Methuen. It's a far better run community than North Andover. Yep. It's a far better run community, certainly than Haverhill is like one of the worst. And it's a far better run community than Lowell. Now, those of you who hate the mayor think I'm just saying that because he's the mayor. I'm not. I'm saying even with the council, and I wrote an editorial in January about this, with all of the council's faults, and right now there are many, but with all the council's faults, even the council is doing a far better job than the city council in most other communities. And they work with the mayor, even though most of them don't like the mayor. They'll deny it. That's the other thing that drives me crazy, is that they'll literally stick pins in voodoo dolls live during a meeting, and then afterwards pretend they didn't do it. Yeah. Like we know certain people hate Brian on a personal level, but yet they'll still stand together in a ribbon cutting. In Methuen, that doesn't happen. In Methuen, if they don't like each other, they're not getting in a picture with each other. In Lowell and Haverhill, they will not get in a picture with each other.
At the end of the day, I feel like, yes, they have their differences, and that's what makes them good. They have their differences, but at the end of the day, they come together for the better of the community, and that's amazing.
Methuen and Haverhill could learn a lot from what the city council has accomplished and what this mayor, and even the end of the last mayor have accomplished. I think Dan Rivera in his last 2 years accomplished a lot for the city. Now, granted, a lot of it was because of the money that came in from Columbia Gas, right? I get that. But he still did it. He still made the improvements. He could have not done that and spent the money on other things.
But we want to see action.
Yes.
Let's see action.
The dynamic
campaign with some action. Talk about the positives and the negatives, but don't make it all negative, hate. Just pushing this agenda because you know what? And I want to give Manny Gonzalez a little advice. Maybe I'm a nobody. Maybe I'm just a single poor mom who knows nothing, who spends all her day reading news or whatever. Those people around you,
they're not
watch
helping.
yourself.
Yeah, they're not
Watch
helping.
yourself,
They're
Manny.
not helping.
Because I like Manny. Manny's a hardworking man, and like you said, he's a firefighter hero. He's a guy from the community. When he was here, he was lovely. I have a picture of him with Alejandro, which nobody complained about.
But then Alejandro had a picture with the mayor.
With Brian, and everybody
complained
about that. But Manny, everyone around you right now, if you do become mayor, watch them turn on you. Just watch.
Well, yeah, except for his campaign manager. and Dave Abdu. I think
No.
I think
I'm
those are
not
the
saying
two
everybody,
people.
but
No.
the people
Right.
who are just looking for a benefit.
I will say that the majority of the people who are supporting Manny right now are not supporting Manny. They're against Brian. That if Manny was anyone else, they'd still be with them. Because it's not that they love Manny, it's that they don't like Brian. And that's, by the way, that's normal. When you have an incumbent, the election is usually based on whether people like or don't like the incumbent. So very, 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 very rare that an incumbent loses re-election. I don't think any mayor that I can think of in Lawrence has ever lost. No, Mary Claire Kennedy, I think, lost, right? She lost to Patty Dowling. But other than that, I can't think of one that actually lost. I don't think I've ever seen a sitting city councilor who was elected lose re-election. I don't think any has.
Really?
I know Rich Russell lost, but he didn't win, right? He lost. Pavel became a senator. He took his seat. So he didn't actually win the election. So he wasn't really running for re-election. But for the most part, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe there's one that I haven't thought of, but 99% of the time incumbents get reelected because the dynamic of any reelection campaign for an elected official in any office is a referendum on the person who has that seat. Are they doing a good job or not? If people think they're doing a good job, they give them the job again.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the person who's in office is in office because the people who are voting are the ones who put him there. So they don't want to go against what they did last time and admit they made a mistake psychologically in their head. So most of the time, they go with the guy they've already got. They go with the guy they chose last time around.
Got it.
So I think Brian's probably got a 70-30 chance right now of getting reelected.
Yeah.
But it's Lawrence.
It's Lawrence.
It's Lawrence. Anything could happen tomorrow.
And by the way, I don't want a job. I'm not after a job. The last thing I want to do is be at City Hall. Oh my God, I won't be able to do this.
You don't
I
wanna
won't be able to speak my mind. I won't be able to, absolutely not.
Yeah, but just think, if you got a job, you could be like Jalissa. You could get a job, screw the job up. Then when you get fired, start your own Facebook page and then rail against Brian every day and pretend that it's really just because he's doing a bad job, not because he fired you for doing a bad job working for the city.
No, I don't want to do all that.
No, you want to do all that?
Yeah,
No,
that's
okay.
against me. I'm sorry, guys.
I thought it was hilarious when she went on
I would like to work for Methuen.
I could probably help you with that.
I would like to work for Methuen.
Although I've already told you before,
small capacity.
If you work for Methuen, the fact that you have any affiliation with me is going to be a problem. I'm just telling you, it's going to be a problem.
I don't even live in Lawrence. I just comment. This is my job, guys. Okay.
You'll have a problem. It won't be with the mayor. It won't be with the city council president. It will be with the insiders, people who aren't elected.
Yeah. Rita Christina's not there anymore.
Yes. Yeah, well, she's not, but her friends still are. Remember, she still has. You'll have Dave Casoli will be helping you behind the scenes, though. So.
Oh my
anyways.
goodness. Can I give just an update on the show? So I'm gonna be working on the radio in Spanish on Power 800. So I already have a couple of enemies, and I think I'm gonna make a lot more, and I'm okay with that. So Delicioso radio show. Shout out to Jonathan Alcantara and La Leona. However, Brian De Peña hasn't paid me. What happened with that, Tom? Can you call him and ask him to give me some money?
No.
No?
I don't even do that for me.
No?
I'm still waiting for my freaking scanner.
No, because according to people, he's paying me to defend him on the situation.
So I wasn't going to do this publicly, but now she's being a little bitch about it. So I sent a message this morning to Altagracia Maggi, who I love. She's not going to hear any of the positive things I said before what I'm about to say right now.
Okay.
Because everyone's going to call her about what I'm about to say, and no one's going to tell her how much I loved her and how I said for the last 10 minutes that I love her. I sent her a message this morning asking her, because I heard, and you mentioned it at the beginning of the show, so I might have heard it from you, I just don't remember where I heard it, that she charges people to go on her show. Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I think that's something that people should know, right?
Yeah.
So rather than, and again, was it you that told me or was it somebody else?
Well, a couple of people came to me and they asked me about it, but she does charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm not saying I have a problem with that. I have to think about that. But I did send her a message this morning because I was curious. And unlike everyone else who runs around asking people there by spreading the story, I just go right to the store. So I sent her a message this morning and said, hey, just a quick question. Do you charge people to come on your show? And I got very defensive.
Ooh.
Well, why? Why do you ask? Do you charge for your business? So I'm like, okay, so I'm not asking, you're very defensive. I'm not asking because I have a problem with it. There's nothing illegal about it.
No, it's your show. You have every right to do it.
But I'm just curious as to whether or not you charge people. And actually, one of the reasons I was asking, and now it's certainly not going to happen now after what I just said, But I've been wanting to go on her show and just kind of chat with her and do like a crossover show about like how the Anglo community sees what's going on in Lawrence versus how the Latino community sees what's going on in Lawrence. And because I love her show, and I also know it would piss off all my friends that are friends with Brian, I thought it would be something a lot of people would talk about and would get her a lot of ratings.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about this for a while, and a few times I've said to her in private message conversations, if you ever need a guest, let me know. But then I heard, again, I don't know if it's from you or someone else, she charges, and then I'm like, okay, so maybe that's the reason why she's never taken me up on my offer. And then I started
We should
thinking,
invite her here.
well, I would, but she'd have to pay $500.
Oh, damn.
Because if she's charging for her show, because I've never done that. Like the only time anybody's ever done that is Lisa Williams from AFC Urgent Care used to call me and say, I really want to talk about something that has to do with AFC. Can I come on the show tomorrow? And then she'd come on the show, and at the end of the show, she'd walk over to Dave and hand him a check and say, don't bill Tom for today's show. I want to pay for the show, because it was all about my business. Yeah. And I got mad at her. I'm like, okay, then you're going to have to let me buy you dinner to make up for it. But otherwise, I would never charge anybody. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I mean, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If she's
Just
buying,
say the truth.
she's
What's
buying the
deal?
time, and she needs to recover what she's paying for. And if people are going to come on her show to promote their business or their campaign, then I don't think I have a problem with that. I mean,
That's totally
maybe
fair.
I'll be laying in bed tonight and I'll think about something that I'll object to, but I don't think I have one. But it was just odd that like she couldn't just go, oh yeah, I charge. She must think she's doing something wrong.
She's not, though, right?
But she must, because instead of just saying yes, the answer I got was, well, why do you ask? Well, what about what your producer said? Don't you charge for your business? And I'm like, I didn't see a yes or a no anywhere in that. I didn't see a yes or a no.
I didn't even say anything wrong, Tom. I just asked her like to give me proof that it is illegal. What is wrong with that?
On the billboards, right?
On the billboard, she was just making it a gossip thing. And I said, why don't you give us some actual information, some data, some actual laws and stuff like that we can kind of think about. Like, make us think and give us information.
So I think, say it again, La Bacanita?
Bacanita.
La Bacanita.
We should have her. She speaks English.
I'd love to have her. Oh, she speaks perfect English. I'd love to have her on. In fact, do you want to facilitate that?
Yeah,
You want to see if you can get her in?
Yeah. I will do that.
And by the way, I love her set. I look at the set and I go, what am I
Beautiful.
doing wrong?
It's beautiful.
Like, we've got a good set here. I actually kind of like.
I mean, we're back at 21.
Right.
Studio 21.
Studio 21 Podcast Cafe. Although, do you want to pull up the other one and see how that looks? I want to just take a quick look.
Which one?
The bricks.
The bricks. No,
Do
we
you
don't
have
have
that?
it here. Let me see.
No, it's got to be there.
Let me see.
'Cause
Bricks.
I had to move heaven and earth to get that because we had to redo it like from scratch.
I don't see it here.
So it's got to be there.
I don't see it
In fact,
here.
I was
Hold
actually
on.
going to start the show with it, but we were so late today that
There's a couple of bricks. There's bricks with text, bricks 1, bricks 2.
it's the bricks with the text at the top that says paying attention.
It's not here. Hold on.
Son of
No.
a bitch.
Sorry.
I can't win.
No, you can't.
And you know what's going to happen. Someone's going to run back to Margie and say, Duggan was trashing you on his show. Julissa will be on the phone. Julissa's probably on the phone right now. That's actually, I like that a lot.
Yeah, it looks good.
I like that.
It looks good. Not too
Right.
bad. Without the words, though, right?
Really? Yeah?
Well, we already have the words on the side. Paying attention.
Okay. All right.
I like it.
Well, that's the other thing. Can we change?
We're doing production on
Right.
air.
Yeah. Why not? Right? I'm paying for the time. Actually, you guys are paying for the time. Yeah. So we should probably have. Well, first of all, the one that's changing at the top is changing way too fast. They used to change a lot. That's
They used to change, yeah.
Yeah, that's way too fast. That needs to
A
like
little slower, yeah.
triple the amount of time that's up there.
All our settings reset it after we did the background thing.
And then let's rotate the middle one too. Although I like the paying attention, right? It actually looks better with the bricks than it did with the other.
Yeah.
With the other thing.
All right, we have options.
All right. Yeah. So I guess what I was just saying is like people will be calling. People will be on the phone with her right now. They'd be like, "He's trashing you." After all the nice things I said about her, the one thing that I'm objecting to will be the one thing. Because nobody ever. Here's the other thing. Nobody ever. I could sit here and spend an hour saying how awesome someone is, and I'll never get a phone call from them saying thank you, right? But the minute I say something that like I disagreed with them on, just a respectful disagreement, I'll get a phone call. Heard you were trashing me on your show today.
Oh my God.
I got 15 phone calls. So they don't get 15 phone calls to say, hey, Tom said really nice things about you on his show today or in his newspaper, but if I say something that can even be taken and twisted to be a negative thing, they get 15 phone calls because people suck.
But I am going to say something. I want to apologize if she got offended when I challenged her communication. If she feels like I said something inappropriate, I want to apologize for that. I do have respect.
Nice.
I have respect for her. You know, my uncle works with her and stuff like that. And I feel like she is an asset to our community. However, she needs to understand that when you throw shit can come back to you as well. So if I challenge you on anything, just like any other news station, any other communication stations, you shouldn't have to treat it, you know, personally. Don't take things personal. I was not being personal at all. I even said in the comment, I said, you know, I respect you and all. I was being very respectful, and I, you know, I did challenge her, but you know, it is what it is. She don't like me. That's okay.
Well, one of the things I like about her is her passion, but it also can be a negative, right?
Yeah.
So when you're a very passionate
personal.
When you're a very passionate person, sometimes it can go the other way.
Yeah.
I actually think there's a tremendous value to what she does.
Me too.
I actually like her a lot, although maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll turn out to be wrong about that too. Maybe she'll just turn out to be what her detractors say that she is. I actually don't think that, but I've been wrong before. I mean, certainly I thought, you know, I'm not going to mention any more names, but certainly I thought that there were certain other people in the community that were really on the up and up that I admired, and it turned out that they were pieces of shit. So,
I don't know. I just feel like personal agendas and passion should be, you know, if you're a professional, you're a professional. Yep. That's all.
I do have a great story out of Drake It that I want to talk about. Maybe we'll save it for next week because we've got to be over the 1 hour mark.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
Drake It. You know that Drake It sells. They have dispensaries.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of them, Treehouse, I think it was Treehouse Cannabis.
Yeah.
Used to advertise with us.
Really?
And I don't know what happened to them. They had
I reached out to them to advertise for my podcast, like when I started. Never heard back. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it would be great to have. In fact, there's a couple in Haverhill that I've been meaning to approach because they have tons of money. Like the cannabis places have tons of money, right? And they have to spend a certain amount of it on advertising, and it's a tax write-off for them, so they get a benefit too. And I'd love to have. Not only would I love to have a cannabis place advertising with us, and we would make it like our official cannabis place, like we would make them exclusive, right?
Yeah.
But I'd also love to have like a cigarette company or an alcohol company. All the companies that other members of the press reject because they're virtue signaling that they're better than their hoity-toity. Right, exactly, with the nose up
French.
in the air, right? Yes. Yeah, but I'd love to have them. And for some reason, we had Treehouse Cannabis, and then we had, and I think I fucked up. I think I said something on the air. I got a call from another cannabis company in the Drake It area who was asking me about ad rates, and I said something on the air about Treehouse is our exclusive cannabis, but that could change. I got a few phone calls from another place, and like within 2 months they were out. They called and said we got to cancel, and obviously it's not because of money, because they're making a lot of money over there.
And allegedly, a lot of dispensaries have illegals working at the farms. Allegedly. Mess with the devil, don't mess with us.
Right. Start looking at their financials.
Ooh.
No, I would never do that. No, look, it's whatever it is. But I've had a number of friends that know people that own the cannabis place, including Dee O'Neill, who knows the woman who owns one of the cannabis places in Haverhill.
Well, make the connection, Tom.
And it would be great to have them because the good thing about having that kind of a business is there's always something legal going on when it comes to that business.
Yeah.
So you've got somebody you can tap into when Supreme Court makes a ruling or somebody sues somebody or there's some kind of a new
And there's
kind of
also
new
be a part
regulation.
of things that they can do for the community as well.
Well, yeah, we can have them come in and we can have,
Yeah, and
have
you also
discussions
reach
with
a different audience there as well, like the younger crowd, my generation.
All right, so we'll talk about the Drake thing next week. And I had one other thing that I wanted to really mention here. I just saw it. So I got a letter this morning from the Attorney General's office about the complaint that I filed against the Lawrence City Council for violating the open meeting law by having the city council president, who was here 2 weeks ago, circulate a letter and had quotes from a quorum of the council and had the signature of a quorum of the council, which is a violation of the open meeting law. But he said something I'm only going to say it publicly because he gave me permission to say it publicly. We had a conversation after the show, or maybe right before the show when he was here, and he said to me, you've got this wrong. And I'm always happy to hear if I have something wrong, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be going after people if there's no real reason to. And he said, you've got it all wrong. You're saying that this is the same as what happened in Haverhill when they circulated a letter. Everybody had input in drafting the letter. Everybody signed the letter. He said, I didn't call 5 members. I took quotes from what they said at the meeting, and I put them in a letter, and I put their names at the bottom because I know that that's where they stand. But I didn't go and get their approval. Now, I don't know that the Attorney General's office is going to buy that, even if it's true. But I said to him, have that idiot city attorney that you have, that guy's name is, crap.
Tom Hooten?
Hooten, Tim Hooten.
Tim
right,
Hooten.
yes.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank God he's not been on my mind lately. Have that idiot city attorney that you have that's way worse than Charlie Body, have him send me a letter stating from you that you did not commiserate with your fellow counselors when you put that letter together, that they didn't give you quotes, that you took it from a meeting, and I will willingly withdraw my complaint with the Attorney General's office. I got a letter from the city attorney, Tim Hooten, that said none of that. So I waited and thought maybe it'll take a week and he'll send me something. And instead, yesterday, I got something from the Attorney General's office saying that the city attorney had notified them, and that if I would like to make this now an official complaint. So what you do is you send a complaint to the body. So like when the Haverhill City Council violated the open meeting law, you send them the complaint. Then they get a chance to address it at a public meeting, which they did. And then if I'm not satisfied with what they said or what they did on how to rectify it, then the Attorney General steps in. Okay. So now we're at that point where I complained about the City Council violating the open meeting law, which I believe that they did at the time that I signed it. It went to the City Council. Idiot boy Hooten gets up at the City Council meeting and says, in order to make this legal, you need to read the letter out loud, which is true. But he also then followed up with, but we're not admitting any wrongdoing. So you're taking steps to correct what you did wrong, while with your lips you're saying, we're not admitting that we did any wrongdoing. So this is why people hate lawyers, because it's the friggin' doublespeak, right? Mm-hmm. They lie while they're lying, and they lie about the fact that they're lying while they're lying. And so Giovanni read the letter into the record, fine. And then he did tell me when he was here that, no, I did not commiserate with my fellow counselors. I commiserated with one other counselor. It was not a quorum. I took the quotes from a meeting, and I said, have him put it in writing. Send it to me. I'll withdraw my complaint. Because if that's true, then you're not in violation of the law, and I don't want you guys to get hit by the Attorney General's office for something you didn't really do. But Tim Hooten didn't follow up with that. Okay? So now the Attorney General's office is now officially investigating the Lawrence City Council for violating the open meeting law. Ooh. Because Tim Hooten never sent me a friggin' letter saying, according to the council president, you're wrong about this. He didn't commiserate with his fellow councilors. And if that's the case, they'd be right. Okay. So I want to be able to withdraw this if they're telling the truth. And I don't think Giovanni's lying. I think he's a good guy. I don't think he's the kind of guy that makes stuff up. I feel like Tim is like their enemy or something. Well, he certainly has not been helping them, for sure. Right? Because he could have gone to them before the budget was supposed to be passed, and he could have said to them, hey, look, you got 5 more days to pass this budget or make changes to this budget and take a vote on it, or the mayor's original submission is going to become law. But the guy had to look it up. That's how incompetent he is. Tim Hooten is so incompetent that when the mayor said, hey, you passed the 45 days, my budget is now law, and the city council asked him for an opinion, he had to go look it up. He had to go look it up. Now, what kind of municipal attorney do you have that has to look up something that's that basic? Like, he had to look up the public records thing when I had my initial tussle with him over the Kelly emails, which I'm still going to get. It's just taking me a little while longer, but I am going to get them.
Yeah, don't give up. Keep pushing.
No, because I've never lost, and I'm not going to let my perfect record go because of this guy, for sure. Like, I don't even want them anymore at this point, but now it's just a matter of, now it's a principle, right? Yeah. But he could have gone to the council and said, hey, look, you're getting close to the 45 days. You guys better take some action on the budget or else. And instead, he let them flap in the wind. And then when they asked him for guidance after the mayor declared his budget law, he couldn't just say on the phone, yeah, he's right. He had to go look it up. because he's not competent. He should not be a municipal attorney. He also, by the way, is on the Board of Selectmen of, I'm going to say Middleton, and I think I'm right. I think it's Middleton. He's on the Board of Selectmen. So this is a guy that's like sucking off the trough of the public in every aspect of his life, right? I'm sure he's getting paid to be a Board of Selectmen member. I'm sure he's getting some kind of insurance, a COLA or whatever. He's also working for the city of Lawrence. You know, if you graduate from law school and you're a good lawyer, you become a prosecutor for a few years, then you open up your own practice. You either become a defense attorney or a contract attorney, and you make a shit ton of money, right? If you're not a good lawyer, you become a municipal attorney.
Okay.
And that's why whether it's Methuen, who is on their 4th municipal attorney in the last 5 years, or Lawrence, that has gone through now. Kevin Foley came and went. Charlie Body came and went. I think there was another guy in the interim, and now this guy. And with any luck, he'll be gone by next year at this time, too. And then they'll have another one. But the reason is you're not going to get a top-of-the-line attorney to be a municipal attorney because, A, you're not paying them enough, given what they can make out in the private sector. Yeah. And, B, the pool of candidates is the bottom of the barrel. So you're basically looking at, like when Methuen hired that guy, and I always get his name wrong. I always want to say Capolini, but it's not that. But Methuen hired their last city attorney. He'd been fired from Lowell. Lowell didn't want him because he was incompetent. So he moves to Methuen. He goes to Methuen and gets a job in Methuen. Methuen had just gotten rid of Ricky D'Agostino. They were looking for somebody. This guy was available because Lowell fired him because he's incompetent, but they needed somebody in the job, so they took him. And then in his first month, Tom Duggan sent a public records request asking for all of the overtime pay for DPW. And I have in writing, it's framed in my office, by the way, it's on my wall. I framed it because you have an attorney, a barred attorney, an attorney who's passed the bar, who's a municipal lawyer working for the city of Methuen, who put in writing overtime pay and pay of DPW workers is not a public record.
Oh.
My freshman year of high school, I knew that was a public record. Before I even got involved in this business, I knew that was a public record. But this guy, he was told by Steve Saber, don't give him the information. So he had to lie in a letter because he knew it was a public record. He knows the pay of all municipal employees, including teachers. The pay of all municipal employees is a public record, including their overtime, including their expense reimbursement, including the vacation time, any extra work that they do for the city, any stipends that they get. It's all public record, all of it. And this guy sent me a letter saying, oh, it's not a public record. And I had to call the Secretary of State's office again, go 9 rounds with the Secretary of State's office, and then within a week, they picked up the phone, they called him on the phone and said, you have to release those. They are a public record, just do it. Why I'm not getting that level of cooperation right now with Tim Hooton, I don't understand. I know that there's a woman.
Something personal, maybe.
Well, I don't know whether it's personal, whether they've had a turnover in Galvin's office. But I had their so-called lawyer of the day called me, and she sounded very elderly, and she yelled at me for the first 15 minutes about I don't want to read any of my quotes in your newspaper. This all has to be off the record. And she must have said it 15 times, and I got mad. And I said, listen, you don't have to say it in every fucking sentence, okay? Please do me a favor. I told you it's off the record. It's going to stay off the record. I won't mention your name, and I won't quote you in the paper, and I won't quote you on my show. And she 15 more times had to say, and I don't want to see this in the paper. And I'm going to tell you, at the end of the conversation, she fucking didn't tell me anything. Like I said, so when can we get this resolved? She said, well, I don't handle it. That's not my case. I'm like, then why am I on the phone with you? Well, I'm the lawyer of the day. I go, but again, why am I on the phone? Why did I waste an hour of my life with someone in the Secretary of State's office who has no say over this case? Like, I don't understand.
You think like the Eagle Tribune would be like following this, or they would be like having your back on this because it also affects them.
They don't,
right?
because they're not journalists. They're not journalists. They're just not. Jill Hemazinski's not a journalist. She's a muckraker. Nobody over there, nobody at the Eagle Tribune is actually committing acts of journalism. If they were, when Tom Duggan won a Supreme Court case in New Hampshire, it would have been on the front page. It would have been instant credibility for them because everyone knows that we hate each other, and they would have looked and went, wow. Just like we were saying with the people who hate Brian DePena. They would have been like, wow, we know they hate Tom Duggan, and yet he won a Supreme Court case, and they covered it, and they covered it fair. They would have instant credibility. You know how much money in advertising they would have made had they just done that one thing? But they couldn't because the level of hate, because I'm a competitor, the level of hate is so high that no matter what I do in the community, This whole thing with the public records, they should be on that because tomorrow it could be them. The whole thing with me getting arrested because of a story that I was writing, that they should have covered that from beginning to end because that could be them.
Yeah.
If I lost my Supreme Court case in New Hampshire, that would mean Jill Hemazinski could get a restraining order filed against her for following around a Lawrence City Council that she thinks is doing wrongdoing. Right? If a reporter at the Globe or the Lowell Sun gets word that someone working for the state is stealing money and is punching in at work and going and working another job and then going back to their state job and punching out at the end of the day and getting 2 paychecks, and they start following them around, they get a restraining order to stop them from doing the story. That's how important my case was, my First Amendment case, in the New Hampshire Supreme Court. And the Tribune wouldn't cover it. They wouldn't cover it.
Whatever.
Yep. Because they're not journalists. All right, so I know you wanted to talk about the white man in New York, but we never got to it.
No, it's all right. He wasn't white, though.
Well, that just goes to show, like, CNN, they're not committing any acts of journalism anymore. You know, to find a real journalist today, it's very hard. It's very hard to find any news outlet involved with any kind of actual journalism, any kind of actual reporting.
But you can see, like, even in the video, like, they were, like, allegedly white. I was like, what?
Yeah. Because the narrative is white people are bad. And black people, just by virtue of being black, are good because of 400 years of slavery.
Yeah.
So we have to, like, if they commit crimes, we can't say that most violent crimes in America are committed by black men between the ages of 18 and 34. I had Jamie Eldridge on my show one day. He's a left-wing lunatic state senator when I was on WCAP in Lowell, probably not even 8 years ago. And he said, well, you know why there's more black men in prison than white men, even though blacks are only 11% of the population? I said, yeah, because they commit more crimes. That's racist. No, it's a fact. It's because they commit more crimes. Nobody goes out and just rounds up a bunch of black people and puts them in jail because they're black. Each individual person has an individual case, has an individual action that they've taken that has been against the law, and then they throw out stuff like, well, how come white men who commit the same crime don't go to jail in the same numbers? Another easy question to answer if you actually just follow up and you actually want an answer. If you want the answer to be racism, you stop there. If you don't care what the answer is and you keep digging, you find out because the white men that are arrested for the same crimes that the black men are committing have only done it this time. It's their first or second time.
Yeah.
The black men that are going to jail is their 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time.
Yeah.
So, yes, 2 men get arrested for drunk driving. 1 guy goes to jail for 2.5 years because it's 9th offense. The other guy, it's his first offense or his second offense. So he's going to classes, paying money, whatever. So anyways.
Allegedly white.
Allegedly. No, you know what? Like,
Allegedly racist.
All the misinformation and disinformation has got to stop, but the answer is not government. And that's where the Democrats have it wrong. The Democrats want the government to be in charge of what you can know. Yeah. And they... like fascists. Like, we all know what fascism is.
You saw the money that Trump won, right? All the lawsuits?
It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's unbelievable. And the Democrats are still trying to make that a violation of the First Amendment. No, they lied. Big time. They committed election interference, which is what they accused him of. And they actually had to pay out like something like $20 million, a lot of money, right?
$36 million in total.
Well, that's huge. That's huge. And I think he should continue to sue. And I think any elected, you know how hard it is? Let me tell you, I've been sued 7 times. Do you know how hard it is to sue a public figure and win? Almost impossible. Do you know how hard it is for a public figure to sue a member of the media and win? Almost impossible. Jim Jajuga sued me, lasted 3 years. We ended up settling out of court. They got nothing, right? No admission of guilt, no wrongdoing. Nobody pays anybody anything. I think we had to pay like a $500 court cost. The Diatomos sued me for 7 years. So they filed a lawsuit against me. We filed an appeal to the Mass Supreme Court saying that under the anti-SLAPP statute, we were within our rights as a newspaper to do what we did. That took 4 years to litigate. And then we ended up losing that hearing. So the only thing we ever lost was that hearing, which means the lawsuit now goes forward. And that's still settled out of court, and we ended up giving them no money and admitting no wrongdoing. It's nearly impossible to sue a member of the press if you're a public figure because the standard is so much higher. If you're a private person and I go on Facebook and I say you're a Nazi and you lose your job because of it, you can sue me and you will win, especially if you're not a Nazi, right? But if you're a public figure, if you're a school board member, if you're a member of if you're the District C city councilor in Methuen, and I say you're a Nazi and you're not a Nazi, almost impossible to win that. Even if it's not true, almost impossible. Because you've got to go in and you've got to prove not only that it's not true, but that I said it with malice. That I said it not because I thought it was true, but because I really just wanted to hurt you. Right? I wanted you to lose a job. I wanted you to lose your mortgage. I wanted your wife to divorce you. And those kind of things are nearly impossible to prove.
Yeah.
But Trump still proved it. Trump proved.
I need his lawyers on my side. Jesus.
Trump proved that the media was purposely lying about him in order for him to lose the election. And that's pretty heavy, given that it's the Democrats and the media that are running around saying that Trump is a threat to democracy. I think the big threat to democracy is when you have members of the media conspiring with a political party for one person to win over another person. That's a threat to democracy. Because, as I said on Tom, I wish I could remember his last name, I think his name is Tom Sinise podcast, when you have a media that is fair and just calling balls and strikes, it almost doesn't matter what party gets elected because you've got checks and balances. When you don't, you have one party rule and you have total tyranny. You have total tyranny. Look at that woman under the Biden administration that went to jail for 3 years for praying outside an abortion clinic. She was praying in America, praying outside an abortion clinic. And she was sent to jail for 3 years because the Democrats wanted like a 40-mile radius around. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but they wanted a huge radius around every abortion clinic. And if you're within that radius, I think it's like 5,000 feet. In Mass, it might even be 10,000 feet, which is huge. Like, it's ridiculous, right? That's 2 city blocks. And she was praying within the perimeter, and so they arrested her. This old black lady, arrested her, tried her, put her in federal prison for praying outside an abortion clinic. But Trump is the threat to democracy. That was the Biden administration that did that. The Obama administration actually spied on a journalist named James Rosen, who at the time was working for Fox News. Now he's with ABC News. And no conservative for sure. This guy's not a conservative. He's a total liberal. And they spied on they hacked his emails at work. They hacked his phone. They hacked his mother's computer. They hacked his mother's phone, got all of the voicemails, the emails, all of their not just him, but him and his parents and his coworkers, because somebody in the government, a whistleblower, leaked information to him about something that was going on in the government that the Obama administration didn't want anybody to know about. So they literally spied on this guy. They opened up a criminal investigation. They used the Department of Justice to go after this guy. But Trump is the threat to democracy?
I feel
really?
like what Trump did should be an example, should be used as an example, maybe locally as well.
Absolutely.
All the lies that are being told about local officials and things like that should also be considered.
Even Bernie Sanders said on a podcast last week when someone said, well, you were supposed to be the nominee, and they actually rigged the primary so that Hillary Clinton would be the nominee. Isn't the Democrat Party a threat to democracy? And he actually looked at the camera and went, I got no problem with that. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So that's Bernie Sanders. That's not right-wing lunatic Tom Duggan saying that. Yeah. That's Bernie Sanders saying that. Kamala Harris never got a vote. She was anointed.
Anointed, yeah.
The Democrat Party unseated a sitting president because their party was going to lose control. So they overturned a sitting president. They convinced him or his wife to have him drop out, and then they installed a replacement. That's not democracy.
Auto pen.
Right. Well, I mean, how many votes did she get nominated? Like, they could have at least had a convention where they nominated her, and it was actually like 3 other candidates, and like make it look good, but they didn't. They didn't, and they didn't care.
And then what happened after that? Wasn't there like an attempted murder? On like Trump's life, anyways.
Oh yeah, they tried to assassinate him, right? Because once they knew that she was probably going to lose, because let's face it, no matter how brainwashed the Democrat Party base is, and it's pretty sad how brainwashed they are.
Yeah.
If your candidate for president comes out and says, well, you have to remember that today is actually the past of tomorrow, but the future of yesterday, unencumbered by what can be. And when you say stupid shit like that, and your position on politics is boys should go into girls' bathrooms and boys should play on girls' sports teams and beat up girls in sports, and that transgender should be doing drag queen story hour in your schools and all of that and open the borders and let 50 million illegal aliens come in and give them free housing and give them free food and give them free health care, when that's your position and the best you can do is yesterday is the past of tomorrow's future. If that's the best you can do, you're going to lose that election every single time. And I'll tell you, we'll end with this. They haven't learned a fucking thing.
They haven't.
They haven't learned a thing. Like for a month after Trump won, CNN went into dark mode, where all of a sudden they started actually committing acts of journalism. Like they actually started like being more fair. They weren't fair, but they were being more fair. And it took about a month of them trying to be fair and trying to figure out how they got it wrong, because they were in their own bubble and they thought, like with Hillary, this is going to be a shoo-in because people believe everything we say that Donald Trump is a Nazi. And they believe it themselves now. So who's going to elect a Nazi? But you're kidding, it was so fucking bad that you got beat by a Nazi.
Who's going to be their next candidate?
You have to wonder, like, are you going to get like a Pete,
they're thinking
Pete
AOC.
Buttigieg? Yeah, she'd be the last president ever.
You think?
Yeah, she'd be
never know.
Listen, she's hot. I mean, I wouldn't mind looking at her for the next 4 years.
She's
but
a smart woman.
I don't think she's smart at all. But
I think so. She knows what she's doing.
I think she's a performer. I don't think she actually believes in anything.
She knows what she's doing.
I think it's
People
performance
support
art.
her. She knows what she's doing.
I don't think she does. I think she gets a
She
script.
went on a. Didn't she go with Bernie Sanders to a couple of cities to
Yeah,
talk
she
and
gets
stuff?
up and she cries about oligarchs. I guarantee you 90% of people don't even know what an oligarch is. She's complaining about she's a communist. She's a communist. Bernie Sanders is a communist. The guy running for mayor of Methuen is a communist. They are communists, and I know there'll be people on my page today going, where's your proof? Where's your evidence? I love those people. They're the best. They're the best.
Communists or socialists?
Well, socialism is the foundation that you need in order to build a communist country. So the first thing that Hitler did.
Well, there's no socialism in China.
Well, no, but it started out that way. So, like when Hitler before Hitler came to power, and how Hitler came to power was after World War I, the German army was completely devastated, as was the entire civilian population of Germany. And so as a veteran of World War I, he started a group of people, and they ended up becoming the Nazi Party, but he started a group of people that went out, and if you were a veteran, they would get you free food. They would give you a place to go shower. They would find a place for you to live. And it became this kind of like a little civic group that they started, where if you were part of our group, you got benefits. And little by little, that expanded. He started running for office. He started running candidates. And so that socialism then became the foundation of fascism, which is very different than communism. Yeah. But the outcomes are the same. So in communism, you have the party of one political party. Like, say there's no Republicans, it's all Democrats. Imagine what they could get away with, right? Yeah. Imagine in England, they're putting people in jail for having Facebook posts, right? That would be going on here. Absolutely. If you could put a woman in jail for praying outside an abortion clinic, you're not far away from going to jail for what you post on Facebook, right?
Well, now that you mention UK, did you hear Ellen DeGeneres sold her farm?
No.
So they don't know if she's coming back.
Yeah, we don't want her. Please keep her. So a communist country is where one party controls the government, right? And so your allegiance is not to the government, it's to the party, because the party controls the government. In fascism, the military controls the government, and the government fuses with private businesses. So you can own a business, but it's not really your business. It's the government's business with you. You're in partnership with the government. So when the government comes in and says, well, we're going to be sending some guys to war and you own a clothing factory, you're now going to be making clothes, uniforms for the military.
It's just like the mafia. They used to go around and get money from all the businesses.
But both of those constructs have at their base socialism. Because in order to get people to depend on government, you first have to give them shit. Right, so you give them things for free, so they start depending on it. Then they get lazy. They don't want to work.
Cover their worries.
Right. A government that can take care of all of your problems can certainly control you.
Yeah.
Right, and so that's where it all comes from. So, we can quibble on Facebook, on social media about the word socialism and communism, and it's not exactly true in fascism, but it's all authoritarianism at the end of the day. At the end of the day, you can look at the Republicans. There are certainly problems with the Republican Party, of which I speak about many. Mm-hmm. But the Democrat Party is the real threat to democracy here.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the MAGA movement, if it became more radicalized, could become everything the Democrats say that it is now. Mm-hmm. They're not, but it could become that. Yeah. But if they were to become that, it would be in response to the left going so far to the left, like we just talked about the pendulum swinging the other way, that you end up creating that what you're trying to stop.
Happened with me.
Right.
Happened with me.
Yeah.
I was a Democrat before, and then I saw all this nonsense
Well,
about boys and girls, and I have kids, and all this media stuff covering people up, not being able to speak your mind. I was like, yeah.
Well, look at my position on immigration.
And immigration too. Yeah, that was a huge.
I was perfectly happy to let everybody stay as long as they're not
too.
committing crimes. Now, after they die on the hill of Saint Abrego Garcia, who's a gang banging murderer.
What about the 2 Dominicans that tried to kill the ICE agent?
Right, tried to kill the cop. We had the video on the Valley Patriot website. Once the Democrats said no, we're going to stand for those guys
all the
too.
money that was spent. Yeah. You know, Chicago is also having cuts in their school, and it's because of all the overspending on illegal immigrants.
Look at Massachusetts.
The same thing.
Look at Massachusetts. We spend over $1 billion. I actually believe it's more than $2 billion. Mark my words, Pavel Payano. I'm going to say it's more than $2 billion at this point. Yeah. I say whenever you know that it's $1 billion, double it. When you know it's $1 million, double it.
Yeah, because of all the what you said, the
all the stuff we don't know, right?
We don't know about.
Right, it's all the stuff you're not factoring in, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, all right, the new Valley Patriot will be out on Tuesday. I suggest if you haven't gotten the July edition that you go out and you get it.
Yes.
The end of a kidnapping is on page 1. We've got a great story about Drake, and I am going to talk about it next week. I wish I had. I wish I had started with that today because I think we could have.
Yeah, we're already over time. We're way over time.
Yeah, and I don't want to be doing 2-hour shows anymore.
And a lot of people left already.
Did they? All right.
Yeah, so let's thank our sponsors.
What we do is we go off air and just continue the conversation.
Yeah, we do.
That's all we do.
And it's even better when it's off air.
That's what sucks is when we go off the air and then we go, we should have done that on the air. That would have been better. But
we'll get arrested.
Right. All right. So I had something, but I can't remember what it was. So let's just
Luis Robles running for school committee. Let's go.
Yeah, I met with Alejandro Baez he's running for the Methuen School Committee. I really like that kid a lot. There's a woman named Figueroa.
I mean, he has the best name ever.
Here. Maria Figueroa is also running. I'm not going to say she's one of my candidates yet. She's a little bit
left.
She's a little bit hopped up on this DEI crap. I think if we can have a conversation. I think Alejandro is also I think he's kind of with the DEI thing as well. I think it's that generation, quite frankly. I think they think I don't think they realize how destructive it is. So
millennials are like changing, by the way. I know it's a trend. A lot of millennials
it's a good change.
Changing to a more conservative, family first mentality, you know, our communities first type of thing. But Gen Z, oh man.
So I've got 3 candidates. I'm looking for 5. I've got Alejandro, I've got Ken Willett, and Kristen Maxwell.
For Methuen.
For Methuen School Committee. And I want 2
Lewis
more.
is running for Lawrence.
Right. Lewis is running for Lawrence, and I'm going to support Lewis.
Me too.
You know, I would support Jonathan Guzman.
I'm not anymore.
I would support Jonathan Guzman if he stopped with all of the national stuff and getting involved in all these left-wing Democrat organizations and global warming and every left-wing cause.
Focus on what you
are
elected
on Lawrence,
for.
right.
What are you elected for? Focus on that. He tried to say, well, I was really speaking on a mindset of a citizen of the district.
No,
I'm
you're
like,
not.
oh
No,
my God. You're all politics.
Listen, he's a good guy, and I think he really cares about the community. And
he does, but he don't know what he's doing.
And I really want to emphasize that he's a good guy. I think he's a tremendous human being. I admire what he does a lot when he helps people in the community. It's not even criticism. It's my only advice to him is stop trying to champion every liberal Democrat cause, hoping that someday you're going to be a senator. You'll get there. You're a young guy. You're smart. You're very well engaged. You know the issues. But really, if you just focus on Lawrence and only Lawrence and stop with the racism bullshit and stop with the LBGTQ / division sign or other crap, and stop with all that outside stuff and just focus on what's going on in Lawrence, the guy could be mayor in 5 years. Yeah. The guy could be a senator in 10, and he could be a good senator, not like an Elizabeth Warren senator, who I know he thinks is good, but he'd be a good senator, and I think he really could help people. I just think he's got to stop taking every liberal cause because let me tell you, first of all, you're on the wrong side. The Democrat Party does not care about you. They don't. They don't care about you as a gay man. They don't care about you as a Latino. They don't care about you as a Lawrence citizen. They don't care. If they did, drive around Lawrence, it would look a hell of a lot fucking better than it does.
Yeah.
Right? Lawrence has been run by Democrats for the last 50 years. Look at it. Look at it.
Exactly.
Right? It took Brian DePina to start paving roads. So we'll end with that. Let me thank my sponsors. You can roll up Mel. If we have Mel this week, do we have Mel this week?
Yes, we do.
Okay, all
yes,
right.
we do.
There he is. I love that guy. We got to go see him.
I really like this.
This is my favorite song by him. I wish we actually had the whole song.
Yeah?
Yeah, I would pop out to the whole song. Let's thank our sponsors, 4-Star Lighting, my buddy Joe over at 4-Star Lighting. Terramar Mexican Grill on South Broadway in Lawrence. Get the Terramar platter. It's excellent. Quality Catering in Methuen. W3ON website design. Why am I losing my voice? Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office. Everybody please call Doug Mercurio and give him some business, because all I'm hearing is he's not getting any business out of us, and we want him to stay. It's how I pay like my light bill and my car insurance and a whole bunch of other stuff. Enterprise Bank, which is now a Rockland Trust, I guess. Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors. AFC Urgent Care, Clear Path for Veterans New England. JG's Ice Cream, even on a nice dark day like today, it's a good day for it. Actually, it's a perfect day for ice cream. EIS Investigation and Gun Training, Marston & Son Construction, the Zany Pesci Office, and Century 21 McLennan Real Estate. Sounds like he says you got to go home.
No, I don't want to get out. All right, I'm kidding. Bye, everyone.
All right, so go home already.